Am I the idiot for not sharing my stepdad's inheritance with my brother? My, female 25, dad passed away when I was very young and my mom married my stepdad Lee when I was 5. Lee is wealthy and my mom never had to work, and I was given everything growing up. The only thing we never received was acceptance from Lee's family. They were not pleased that Lee chose to marry a widow with a child. Lee and I were close and he continued to care for me even after my brother Sam, 18, was born. My mom clearly favored Sam and didn't really focus much on me. Lee's relatives warmed up to my mom a little with the birth of Sam, but I was still treated like something invisible. Sam was often invited to Lee's relatives' houses to play, and he and I are not very close. I decided to go to university overseas and Lee gave me enough money that I didn't have to work or worry financially. He also was the only one calling/writing to me regularly. I talked to my mom/Sam like once every couple of months during my university days. After graduation, Lee wanted me to come home, but I wanted to work and be on my own for a bit. The pandemic happened and I was unable to fly back. When the lockdown was over, my family came to visit me once and left when I preferred to continue working where I am. Lee came to visit me a few more times by himself. A few months ago Lee passed from a disease he never let anyone know he had. In his will, he left his businesses and house and most valuables to his relatives. My mom almost nothing, though she can keep what he has already given her: 2 cars, jewelry, and cash $60,000. My mom never legally married him. Sam $150,000 and the rest of the money to me. It was 7-figure USD, a life-changing amount. Turns out Sam is not Lee's biological child, which he found out only recently. My mom and Sam were mad, of course, and demanded that I share money with them. I said I'm willing to put the money in some low-risk investments, and we can split the gain. Not good enough. They want at least 25% each of what Lee left me. I argued that it's not like they are left destitute. Sam can still go to a good university, if he cares enough for further education, and my mom has enough money to get her own place, and the investments will give us all long-term incomes. They called me greedy and planned to take legal action, but Lee's relatives told them that they could make my mom and Sam's lives very difficult if they tried to give me a hard time and go against Lee's wishes. I intend to do as I promised them, splitting the gains from the investment with my mom and Sam. I won't let them touch the money Lee left me though, because I don't trust them to not go through that money in just a few years. Am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. You aren't his biological daughter, but the daughter he chose. Splitting the gains is already nice from you. But don't give your mother too much, otherwise she will pay a lawyer to sue you. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Keep the money you inherited, and do what you want with it. And please talk with a tax advisor for your country before proceeding with your plan to split the gains from the investments. Remember that because those investments will be in your name, you're likely the one to be liable for the taxes on those gains. Now for the update. I talked to a lawyer. I told her my plan to continue living overseas and that I planned on going to low contact with my mom and brother. She said I should set aside money for my mom and brother in the form of a trust fund. They will be paid X amount per month, the dividend from low-risk investments, but can't touch anything else. I don't trust them both with a huge amount of money, so this way they will always have a steady income in their lives. I know this is against Lee's wishes, but I just need to take care of them this last time. I already have a will set up that everything will go to charities. I make decent money at my job, so I set up a will a while back. My family knew this when everyone visited me that one time. Sam still has a year of school before university, so he should still be living with my mom in the meantime. My mom has a room in a high-rise that Lee gave to her a while back, so they should be fine with a place to live. I plan to support Sam's university expenses. He's not academically inclined, but in our culture he will definitely be pushed to go to university. I'm still working with my lawyer to see how that can be without having to get too heavily involved. As to why Lee never found out about Sam, my mom is mixed race while both of her children's fathers and Lee are the same race. Sam and I look like her, so it's hard to tell. Don't know why Lee decided to investigate after all this time. He was to blame for Sam being spoiled, too, with how much he had been letting Sam spend over the years. My mom is 10+ years younger than Lee. Maybe that's why she had the affair. She has a university degree, so she can find a job if she wants. Her jewelry should be worth near 6 figures though, so there's always that. Lee's relatives took his intentions seriously. Ever since Sam became more problematic in his teens, the relatives tolerated him for their blood connections. Now that he is not, my mom and Sam are instantly in their bad book, I guess. Once this mess is more settled, I'm thinking of asking my workplace for a relocation. A change of scenery should be nice. I like my job, so I think I will continue working, but maybe my vacations can get a little more extravagant from now. Thank you. Comment 1. You're the idiot. Your selfishness is appalling. Despite being raised with privilege and given everything by your stepdad, you refuse to share even a fraction of your inheritance with your own family. Your mom and brother deserve better treatment from you. Money isn't everything, and your lack of empathy is truly disturbing. You should be ashamed of yourself. Comment 2. The money was willed to you. You are under no obligation to share it with anyone, least of all to those who only think they are entitled to have it. You are already being generous with your plan of giving them a part of the proceeds from investments in order to support them. It's not your fault if they continue to think that they deserve more and choose to be disappointed with what you give. So think nothing more of it and live your life to its fullest. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for abandoning my siblings? I, 17, female, am the oldest of 3 living with my 2 siblings, 14 female and 10 male, and our mother. Our father left when my brother was born, and afterwards we moved states closer to family for help. Since then I've been helping my mom with raising my siblings the best I can. We've had family come over to help when I was busy and my mom was at work, but for the most part it was just the 4 of us. When we moved, I was placed back in school as soon as I could be. I've always been more quiet than most, and living in a new state only made the social awkwardness worse. But eventually, I met another girl around my age, and we started to become good friends. The girl, Alana, and I started doing a lot together. It only took a couple years, if not less, to be considered like family. A little over 5 months ago, Alana and I started dating. We took it very slow, and kept it to ourselves. Last month when we hit 5 months, she convinced me to tell my mom. She was fine with the ex-boyfriends I've had, and based on prior comments seemed to support the LGBTQ+ community. Last Sunday, I decided to tell her. Alana spent the night, because she wanted to be with me when I told my mom. So in the morning we both sat her down with us at the dining room table. When we told her, she freaked out. She said all sorts of angry things at us. My girlfriend and I tried to keep our cool, but before the conversation was over I was in tears and she was clearly pissed. That was the only time I've ever swore at my mother. I left the house for a few hours. I needed to relax and calm down before making any hasty decisions. When I returned later, I opened the door to see my suitcase packed and sitting next to the couch. I took the hint, grabbed it, and left again. I've been staying with Alana since, but it's difficult because her parents don't know about us either, and they just know my mom and I got into an argument. This week my phone's been blowing up with family members criticizing me for leaving my siblings and mom like that. I can only assume they've been given one half of the story, but maybe I'm wrong. My mom hasn't called or messaged since. I feel sorry, but at the same time I don't know if she understands how she hurt me. So Reddit, am I the jerk here? Now for a few comments before the update. Oh sweetie. Not the idiot. Have a virtual mom hug. Your actual mom sucks and I would very much like to shake some sense into her. Put her on blast to your family. Let them know she kicked you out and why. Either you'll find allies or it doesn't matter because those bridges are burning anyway. If your school has a GSA, reach out to the teacher sponsor, they should be able to direct you to help. Comment 2, not the idiot. Any parent who packs a suitcase for a 17-year-old just because they aren't straight is the idiot. Now for the update. Firstly, I called my father. Our relationship is strained, being separated and not seeing each other often, but he's made it to some of my bigger events since the divorce. Double digits, sweet 16, mostly birthday stuff but sometimes other things. He never wanted us to move away, just felt he couldn't handle a 3rd kid at the time. I digress. I called him, and it went to voicemail. I found myself crying into the phone as I relived the past 2 weeks, but I made sure to word it as, "Mom kicked me out because I have a girlfriend." He called back a few hours later and said he'd see what he can do to help, and will keep me updated, and asked me to do the same. Secondly, on Tuesday, I talked to Alana about us telling her parents. Between people saying I should get their support, and those saying I shouldn't in fear of more backlash, it wasn't an easy choice. I was hoping in the worst case scenario, my dad would be able to help. And in the best case, we'd have 3 adults rooting for us. She was hesitant, seeing how things went with my mom, but ultimately agreed. We sat her parents down similarly to my mom. When I say we, I really mean she did most of the talking. I was still worried things would go wrong. She started off by simply explaining why I've been here for over a week during class finals. We tried coming out to my mom, which created an argument, and led to me getting kicked out. Her father said he wished we had told him sooner, and, "I'm sorry for failing you too, for making this feel like an unsafe place to be who you are." Alana's stepmom and dad talked for a few minutes before coming back with new rules. They wanted their couch back. If that meant dusting off the air mattress from when we were kids, or just getting some extra blankets, they didn't really care. We do us, so long as it isn't illegal and we don't get into trouble. But that said, since I was now under their roof in a slightly less temporary way, I'd have to start following the same rules Alana did. Curfew grades, things like that. All of which I agreed to. Her parents are going to take us back to my house today. I want to give my mom another chance. I mean, I don't get how you can just walk away from someone after your entire life. I'm either going to get the documents I need, or my mom back. In the latter case, I still don't know if I'm going to go back to sleeping there quite yet. I'm still hurt. After talking to my sister, she understands and would rather me stay away if needed. My brother's a little confused, but says he just wants us all to be happy. Thank you all again for your overwhelming support and advice. Comment 1. OP, you should not go back to that awful place except to grab your stuff. You deserve so much better than Bio Mom. Your girlfriend's dad gets that and is trying to make his home safe and accepting for you. Take it and run. You will be a massive idiot to yourself if you move back in with Bio Mom. Comment 2. OP, please listen to the other posters. It's not safe for you back there. Please stay away and stay safe. Protect your emotions and your heart. Sending you hugs and the promise that it gets better. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling a school nurse I don't need a second opinion from an American doctor for a diagnosis made in Spain? I, female 17, moved from Spain to the US with my parents a year ago. I have a very rare and severe neurological condition, which is itself a subtype of a more common and less debilitating condition. When I say rare, I mean a 0.0001% occurrence rate. I was diagnosed in Spain a year ago, before we moved. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital. They ran all the tests possible, even experimental ones. I eventually saw a specialist who's extremely well known in his field. He made the diagnosis and gave me a prescription. I went from 2 episodes a day to less than 1 a month. Now for the issue. A week ago, a new head nurse was hired at my high school. As an at-risk student, she asked to meet me. When I started describing my situation, she interrupted me, saying, "I know, name of the more common condition, cut it short." Since it's on a whole other level in terms of gravity and rarity, I still went ahead and described it. She interrupted me again and said, "This diagnosis is very unusual. Are you sure about it? I know a very good doctor. You sure don't want to have a second opinion from an American doctor?" She stressed America. I told her that all the tests were run a year ago, the diagnosis fits perfectly and the medication is working. I finally said that